All right, let's do a couple more examples here for these Punnett squares. For this one, we're going to cross a homozygous dominant individual with a homozygous recessive individual. So we're going to do this exactly like we did the last one. You'll list the genotypes across the top and across the side of each of the parents. So I'll start off with the homozygous dominant going across the top. You have big F, big F. Again, this is referring to the dominant gene that would be found on one of the chromosomes coding for the dominant trait. Then down the side, we will have little f for this individual. And now, again, you just are going to battleship these in. So down and across. Big F, little f. Down, across. Big F, little f. Down, across. Big F, little f. And the last one. Okay. Once you have the Punnett square complete, you can go back and check the phenotypes that each of these possible genotypes would produce. So this would produce a dominant phenotype, and so would this one, and this one, and this one, since they all contain one of the copies of the dominant allele. Now, each of these individuals are heterozygous, and we also call them something else. We call them carriers. Because even though they don't actually, forgot another R. You guys know how awesome I am at spelling. Even though they don't actually express the recessive trait, they still carry the recessive allele, and that gives them the possibility of passing that recessive allele down to the next generation. So, what if we were to take two of these heterozygous carriers, these heterozygous individuals, and cross them with each other? So, let's do our third final example here. So, we have two heterozygous individuals. These are both going to be expressing the dominant trait, since they have at least one copy of the dominant allele. But since they're carriers, they have the ability to pass on these recessive alleles, these recessive genes. Okay, so we'll list the possible parental genotypes across the top. Big F, or big F, little f, sorry, and then big F, little f. Go ahead and fill in the Punnett square. Should be good at this now. Okay, so now we can go back and look at the phenotypes. This individual, or this allele combination would produce a dominant phenotype because it's both dominant alleles. This one would also produce dominant, and this one as well. But then this one, we have both copies of the recessive allele. This is going to produce a recessive individual. And this is why the heterozygous individuals are called carriers, because since they have these recessive alleles within their genotypes, if you have two heterozygous individuals or a heterozygous and a homozygous recessive individual mating or having a cross done, then you can end up with recessive phenotypes in their offspring. So this is the third and final example for your Punnett squares.